They, they will guide you. Yeah. Well, very few people used to those types of arrangements anyway, regardless. And it feels like foreign territory. And so I gotta go get my.
Oh, that's right, that's what we're working on. Yes, we are. I don't think I got an email, so I wasn't sure at the top. You didn't get the weekly email? I'm kidding, we get like 16 a day. Well, let's make sure, have you not gotten any of them? No, I have gotten some. Okay. Yeah, make sure Billy's got you on the list. This one, it probably went out last Thursday or Friday. She didn't, it went out before this week started. So go back in time. I can remember that. I couldn't tell you. I don't know if I still have any or not. I try to, I get so many emails, I try to delete them back. Yeah. Because I just get too many in my feed. That's why I have it. I say but we're going over the MREA. Have you gotten yours yet?
Yeah, I'm about halfway through the audiobook.
Okay. On the MREA meeting book, okay.
Yes.
Did you get your actual MREA spreadsheet?
No,
Okay, let's look and see if you're on file or,
Wish we could find my real MREA that I had all marked up and everything. I loaned it to someone and now have yet to find it back, come back.
I don't see it on here.
Who are you looking for?
Ellie's MREA, she's not sure she got it.
Yeah, I have my new assistant Jeg sending them out so that everybody will have them by Thursday.
Okay,
Because Billy's last day was Friday. So Jeg is stepping in and doing a whole bunch.
find mine. And then you can look at mine as we go. Okay, yeah. That is, and she'll have it on the big screen, then you'll be able to see.
Exactly.
What works on her.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yes, everybody will get your own so that you can.
The spreadsheet has the template, but it's 30. David Conrad and my brother designed it inside. Spreadsheet for geek, whatever you want to call it. Very talented. His background shows. And so once you get it, you're the only person who uses it yourself, and it literally becomes your business plan every year. Build on it. It's a really cool concept. It tracks your figures, your profits, your budgets. It just, you can use it to track your clients, and it's very comprehensive. Or not, so it's kind of you have one utilize. Kristen's we're gonna introduce you guys to it. I'll show you what it does. This is page 1. And then, as we go do it all, I'll show you. That's really interesting. Such a lovely day.
Oh, yeah. It's rainy day, continuous rainy days. I have the sun. What about MD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to take my dogs, they love on the walks and they live on the bank, which is why.
They don't like it at all.
Actually. light misty. You know, because it's like we only can see it in. Yeah.
Hey, everybody on Zoom, good morning. We are getting going. I hope everybody had a good holiday weekend. Anybody go out of town? Ellie, did you stay in town?
Yes.
We had some adventures. We went to Oklahoma and Friday night, we have this isn't wrong, hold on. We have a 16-foot camper trailer that we stay in. And we went to a ranch and parked in the middle of nowhere on my husband's family's property. And there was not a severe thunderstorm, there was an extreme thunderstorm. In a 16-foot, we call it our buggy. It was interesting to say the least. There were gusts of winds up to 60 miles an hour. So our buggy literally was vibrating like this. And I thought, this is it, gonna die right here in a pasture in Oklahoma. Because Oklahoma is known for we've got to find tornadoes, right? So let me get in here. Oh, we're our 2025. Okay, well, we're gonna I should be able to. Hold on a second. What we're gonna do today, we're gonna start this week and part of next week on business plans, MREA business plans. Now, some of you already have them, they're in place, and you are good. This isn't what I want. So, and that's awesome, but many of you do not have one. And so I currently have my assistant. Let me see if I've got one that says, no, I want. Let's go back.
Yeah, I bet they're there because you shared them with us.
Oh, I know they're here, but I'm in a different, I have to go into a different account.
I know.
So I have to find these, here we go. Here's the 2025.
Say that it goes some.
Yeah, what happens is it's in a Google folder, and when we make a copy and give it to you, that is so that you can go make changes to it. And I can see it, your coach can see it. We could make a change to it. And you never have to then resend it to us when you make changes. So one of the most important things, good morning, Amy, you survived graduation.
And then we have slept till 10.
Okay, and can I just say the graduation dresses were gorgeous on those girls and your daughter was beautiful. Just beautiful. Usually those graduation dresses, especially when they all have to wear the same, usually don't look good on everybody.
That was not a repurposed dress.
Gotcha.
That's the Bella bridesmaid.
Oh, yeah. I went to a private school and my daughter went to the same one and we had to wear white dresses and many of them were bride's dresses that they just reconstruct.
Yes,
So, yeah.
Those girls.
Yeah. So, but the business plan, the reason we're going to now spend time, we've been talking about in Launchpad. Good morning, Jocelyn. We've been talking about how do you get business? What do you do when you get business? All of that. How to work with a buyer, how to work with a seller, transactions. Now we're focusing in this last section of Launchpad. We are focused on your business, running it like Keanu. Good morning. Running it like a business. And I know that for most of you, I've got 2 people in the waiting room. Let's get them in. Tamisha's coming in, Serena's coming in. Awesome. I know that for many of you, you're just thinking, Kristen, I'm just trying to survive right now. I'm not thinking like a business owner. I don't even feel like an agent yet. Am I right? Kind of, maybe a little bit. Yeah. So I get that. And it is very important. I want to make sure I have everybody in. Okay, I don't see anybody smiling faces though. Ah, there's Serena. You know, on a dark and cloudy day. Okay, I'm pretty impressed with the in-person and online. Usually the day after a 3-day holiday, it is sparse, to say the least. So kudos to all of you for showing up, because our business doesn't like take a vacation or it's hard to. So I'm very proud of you all for all showing up and being here this morning. And so that's why we are going to now, in this very last section of the Launchpad, talk about business. Because the one thing this book does, and what makes us so different than other brokerages is, Jody, we're actually teaching you how to run a business, not just be an agent. And there is a huge distinct difference between the two. And this isn't a slam on other brokerages. It's just a different philosophy and approach. And they're gonna maybe teach you how to be an agent if you get enough training or get a mentor for more than a deal or two. But they aren't teaching you business. And that's why this book is so important. And if you haven't read it, if it's still nice and shiny and hasn't really been opened, and hasn't been like scribbled in or highlighted, I need you to do that. Because what I want for each and every one of you is to run a business and not just be an agent. Can I tell you what the difference in the business is and the lifestyle? Someone who just is an agent they might have a goal. I want to close 10 deals this year. But then they have no plan on how to do that. In my old brokerage, here's what my broker would do every year. He'd say, write down, what are your goals? What are your goals for this year? And then he'd say, great, go do that. Not, how are you going to do that? What are you going to do? It's just, go do that. And you know what happened? Is once I got the business off the ground, I kept hitting this ceiling. Because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do other than never sleep and work 24 hours to get past the ceiling I kept hitting. I didn't know how to think it out like a business. I didn't know that I could actually know how many people I needed to talk to in a week to get to my goal. Actually, what I did was I would just run around like a chicken with her head cut off and hope that I did enough. And I never felt like I did enough. And I worked horrific hours. And I don't want that for you. I didn't have the concept of how to run this as a business. And thus, when I got into transactions, I'm going to share screen with them. So we're not on the business plan yet, but I want to do this now before I forget. So like I said, I had no clue on what I was supposed to do, when I was supposed to do it. And I was on the roller coaster like so many other agents. And maybe you've talked to some experienced agents and they've said, oh yeah, real estate's just a roller coaster. It's feast or famine. Anybody heard an agent talk that way? Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot, not all of it is self-created because they're not running it like a business. They get busy or they do some lead generation because they're like, I got to talk to people. I got to get some business going. Then they get some business going, stop the lead generation 100%. Because they've got these deals going, those deals close, and they have nothing behind them business wise, nothing. And they're like, oh crud. I gotta get out there and run because I don't have anybody in my pipeline. I don't have anything coming up. I gotta make it happen. So they get out there, hustle, 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 get busy. And then it's the same cycle over and over and over again. That's why there's such a high burnout rate in our business. This is not easy business. Most people wouldn't do what we do for a living if they knew how hard we worked. They wouldn't. However, here's the thing. Most people will not have the opportunities, especially the financial opportunities we can have as a result of that hard work. Make sense? That's what being an entrepreneur is about. This actually, everything in the MREA could be applied to another business. It's just really about growing business and having a foundation underneath you. And that's what's so important. So I think it's really important that we understand what it takes to run it like a business. Because tell me, I want everybody, I'm gonna give a little space for each of you, even online, to tell me, do you feel like a business owner? Kiana, do you feel like a business owner when it comes to real estate yet? Okay. Thank you for the honesty. Not yet. Jocelyn, do you feel like a business owner? No. And you helped run another business with your parents. So, I mean, you are in the world of entrepreneur and small business environment. Okay. Jody, do you feel like a business owner?
No.
Okay. Jeff,
I actually, I do.
that's good.
I feel like I own it, I feel like it's what I want to do, and I feel like I'm 100% responsible for business, generating business, so. You know, I want to get just to that point where I've got the projects going, and then I've got the next ones shooting.
Pipeline, yeah. Ellie, do you feel like a business? Because you have your own business prior to real estate.
Say no.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. How about online? Let's see who we have here. And Park, do you feel like a business owner, if you can talk?
Not quite yet.
Okay, okay. What about you, Brooke? Do you feel like a business owner?
I would say no.
Okay. Whitney, what about you? Do you feel like a business owner?
Not quite yet, but I feel like I'm trying to lay my map out and like I'm feeling like I'm starting to get some like feet underneath me.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Tamisha? Tamisha is brand new. You feeling like a business owner yet? If you can talk, because I know sometimes people can't get on. Okay. Serena, do you feel like a business owner?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
A,
you do.
a serial entrepreneur, actually.
Yes, she is. She is a serial entrepreneur. Yeah, what I appreciate, especially, not exclusively, but especially for younger people getting into this business, like an Ellie, like Camden, is Jocelyn. You all have other business interests. And you're probably not just going to ever have just one business. I mean, you might. Real estate may be your one business. But I want you thinking big enough that it's okay if you have other businesses, but you better have a foundation underneath you. You better know what you're trying to accomplish and how. Because if you just go willy-nilly and starting one business and then starting another, I doubt you're going to have long-term success. The odds are against you, right? So that's where talking about the MREA and the business plan is so important. And when we talk about the economic model, and the economic model is where we talk, or Gary Keller talks about it in a way that gets you starting to treat this like a business. So I'm going to just read a little bit from the MREA. I hope you're taking the time to read it, or if you do Audible or listen to it, that's great. I find the only thing challenging when you listen to it is there's a lot of charts and graphs. So that first time you listen, it might not all connect, but for a second read or listen, or third or fourth, I did have, some of you probably saw my really marked up copy. I loaned it to someone and it never came back home, and I'm really sad. Because it was the proof that I read this puppy over and over and over and over again. Because it was beat up, tattered, and well noted and well highlighted. But I think it's so important to spend a little time in really giving you perspective on this, and why it's not just an exercise. It's a critical element of your business, this business plan. And so this is, and it's model number one. Here's another thing I'm going to tell you that I don't think most of you know. This spreadsheet, and I do want to let you all know I have a new assistant. Her name is Jeg, like Peg, Jeg. And so you'll get emails from her. It'll be the same email as Billy was using. Billy's last day was last Friday, so we're going to miss him a lot. He was a sweetheart. And she's going to be working this week on getting everybody a business plan if you do not have one, because you get your own personalized business plan. Like I said, some of you already have that. But if you do not, especially the newer ones, she's going to be working on getting those distributed. So Thursday, we can actually be working on them together. But let me read this. Model number one is your economic model. Think of your economic model as the formula that describes the way your business works. It is your equation for success. Essentially, the economic model describes the relationships between a series of activities and the specific outcomes they produce. Actually, you can work the formula in reverse just as easily. If you start with an outcome, it will dictate the specific actions you must take to produce it. Now, whether you realize it or not, you have an economic model. Every business does. Every real estate agent does. The issue is not about having an economic model. Rather, the issue is whether you understand the one you have, and whether it can get you the net income you're wanting. A sound economic model should do 3 basic things for you. And I suggest writing this down. 3 basic things. Write this down. Number 1 is show you where your money comes from. Number 1 is show you where your money comes from. That's your gross revenue. Number 2, show you where your money goes. Expenses. Number 2 is show you where your money goes. And number 3 is show you how much is left for you, your net income. And this is just basic economics and sounds very simple, but in actuality, most people follow very unsound economic models. They're not sure where their money comes from. They're not sure what costs are critical and which ones are not. And they can't be sure how much will be left at the end of the year or the end of the quarter. Because do we get paid on a regular basis? No, we do not. I was very, very fortunate that I had a deal, I had a closing off of my very first buyer. And so I had a closing within my first 90 days, and then I didn't have one for 3 months. For 3 months, I thought, I got this, right? I got this real estate thing, I got a client, we got going, and then I was like, holy crud. It doesn't happen that easily. That was just the lucky factor. The problem is these people who don't know what's going on is their economic model is based on activities with no projected outcomes attached. Like, maybe you've heard me say this, but you need to be thinking this. I don't think we say it enough. When you do an open house, do you have a goal of what you want to have happen as a result of that open house? Do you have a goal of how many leads you ideally want from them? If not, you should. Otherwise, you're just hanging out and hoping something happens instead of making certain you do everything to make it happen. There's a difference. And as business owners, we have to be purposeful if we want to succeed. The lucky factor only goes so far. It is not a business plan. What happens is they have bought into the common fallacy that if they work hard and spend money on their business, then somehow they deserve to make all the money they want. Sorry, it simply doesn't work that way. Fortunately, high successful real estate agents have lived before us and now have a lot of examples to guide us. We can now put together a plan and a proven real estate economic model that you can trust to help you achieve your maximum potential. So all of this that we're teaching that comes out of this is proven. And that's where I do want to kind of caution you all. You get inundated by a lot of different real estate gurus, and most of them, there's value in them. You have to be very careful that it is not just one real estate guru success story. Because what one person did doesn't mean it's really replicatable. This is not Gary Keller. This is not Gary Keller saying this is how I did it. This is after interviewing hundreds of successful agents to see how did they do it. So it is a proven model, and that's what this spreadsheet here, this spreadsheet that we're looking at, hold on a second, I'm going to minimize them down. Other offices don't have. David Conderman took this and put it into this. It's brilliant. When I have shown this to other like productivity coaches across the United States, when I go to, like, oh, they're like, oh my God. They're like, what? Maps coaches, they go crazy over this. They're like, what? So you've got a tool that takes everything from here and gives you the working version of it. It is so beautiful. You're so, so fortunate. When I was an agent, like I said, what did I do? I just ran out the door and was busy. I don't know if I was very purposeful. I thought I was. And I hoped I did enough each and every day, each week, each month. If I had this tool actually will show you, Keanu, it will show you how many people you ideally need to talk to in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year to get to the goal you said you wanted to get to. How more specific can you be? And again, it's proven on proven statistics of success. So this isn't just, again, just an activity sheet and what have you. This is something that is a working document, and to not be done just once, it's not a one and doneer. Very few things in our world are one and doneers. They are to build on. So when David did this, I'm going to take you through some of the tabs. The first thing is this instruction. I did in my weekly email, and I know it's a holiday weekend, so I'm assuming that many of you didn't even read it, notice it, see it, and that's a-okay. Go back to it, because in it I have a link to a shorter video about the business plan. David's is very long, and it's wonderful because then he has it broken out about where he has in that video, he talks about each of these tabs individually in depth. But I'd love it if you'd watch my video that just kind of gives you more of a general overview of the tabs that we'll spend time on. Because there's some tabs I'm not going to be touching with you.
Watch this and it's complicated. Yeah. So I'm glad that you have like the clip notes.
Yeah, I do. I do have the easy breezy.
Okay.
The easy breezy and just focusing on some of these tabs, not all of these tabs, because that can be overwhelming. Has anybody ever heard me say how I felt the first time David showed me? Oh, he didn't even have it built. Every year he puts more bells and whistles. So this was the first thing he showed me. This was one of the first things he said. He said, yeah, you're going to be teaching this to new agents. I looked at it and I wanted to puke. I'm not kidding. I'm not a numbers person. So I looked at this and I thought, oh, God, he's kidding, right? And he's just like, it's just flowing out. He's like, and I'm like, ah. Nothing was, I couldn't even comprehend.
I said, David, yes.
I was just like, dang, oh no. I was, no, I'm gonna be doing this with all, yeah. I'm like, I had to learn it and learn it well to then embrace it and see the magic of it. And I also want you to think about, and it's okay, if you're like me and you're not a numbers person, then I can show you what key things just to focus on. Don't get crazy. Don't let all these numbers take you down. Because they almost took me down. Jody, are you in my club? Okay, okay. We're members together. It's okay because they're just key elements you need to focus on. You don't have to get bogged down into all of this. Now, if you're a math and spreadsheet nerd and this just is your love language, like David Conderman, awesome. Then you're going to look at everything. And that's okay. So we can use this tool in a way that you and I won't want to puke every time we open it up. And so that you understand how it helps you. So that's what's so important, is understanding that this is your tool and this tool is going to break it down so that the thing I think you all struggle, or many of you struggle with here in the beginning, is what do I do? Okay, I'm an agent, but every morning I wake up thinking, what the heck am I supposed to do? And this is how you put together that plan, that roadmap, so that you follow it, so that you build a business and you're not just scatter shooting over here and over here, hope something happens. Because I've been there. I've been there, done that, tried a little bit of everything. So this is where everything in red, once we share your business plan with you, everything in red you can edit. Okay, this also gets shared with your coach and with me, so we can go in and see. But for Thursday, what I want you thinking about is focusing on the numbers you want to hit. And that's here in the MREA. The 3 key areas of your economic model is focus on the numbers you must hit. The greatest thing your economic model will tell you is what numbers you must hit in order to net the income you want to receive. Here's your net income.
the $100,000.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm like, okay. Now, this is the launch template. This is really high.
It's very high, I noticed that too.
Okay, this isn't the one I thought it was. Okay, but that's okay. Yeah, saying that you want to gross 240, and it looks like, where's? Okay, how many closings does this
I
one?
think that ratio, I think, would tell you.
2525. Yeah, I don't know what he did to this one. Okay, this isn't what it was. That's 24. That's really high. So I'm probably gonna, well, you'll get to adjust this. You get to choose your number. So on the net, I want you thinking about how much. Yeah, this looks like the team one, because usually you can put in your net.
Right.
So I'll look and make sure we've got the right one going out, because that's not, I just pulled it up from what came up. But the most important thing is, what number do you want to net? Remember, net is what's gonna go home in your pocket after you pay everything. Commission splits, the launch program, taxes that you should be setting aside. And I'll be perfectly honest, I get it. If in your first couple of deals, you're not setting anything aside for taxes because you need that money. But you better have an idea of what you should have been setting aside and getting after it on the upcoming transactions. Does that make sense? So I know what it's like to not have income for a while. I know what that's like. And so I'm just about being a realist but you have to have the awareness of what percent should have been set aside. And if you set back a little bit, even if it's not a lot, then do that. It's going to be important. But I want you before Thursday, and those of you all who've had your business plan for a while, I want you determining, do I need to adjust that net? Because sometimes we start the first of the year off and we think, yeah, and sometimes it's not going according to plan, and that's okay. And you can adjust your goals, or you can adjust your activities and keep your goal. You have to determine. What do you think is the most common dollar amount that most new agents put in the net? How much do they want to net?
100,000. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. That sounds great, right? You take it. But is it realistic? You can hit it, and I've seen agents hit it, but they worked like crazy people. It can be done. But I want you to be very realistic, because the number you pick for the net has to be the number that you own. Meaning, Jody, if you don't make that amount of money, you're not gonna make it. So it shouldn't be your bare minimum, but it should be a number you have to make. And then you have to ask yourself another thing is, okay, so do you know your expenses? Do you know your personal expenses? How much do you need to make? So when I'm asking you for Thursday, what net you want to make, you better be able to know how much your expenses, your car, your house, food, insurance, all of that. You should have a pretty good ballpark idea of what your expenses are. And if you don't, then sit down this week and start mapping that out. Because I want you to make certain that you've got a number that's going to cover what you need it to cover, and then hopefully then some, right? That's important. I want it to, but just picking a number because it sounds good and wow, I'd love to make 100,000. You have to say to yourself, then when we get to the lead gen tab and you see how much work that's going to take, how many people you need to talk to every week, every month, every year, and you go, oh, and you probably have to adjust your goal. that net. Does it make sense? Because this business plan really doesn't work and you will not use it as a tool if you do a dreamy out of this world number. Make sense? And again, not that I don't want you guys dreaming and thinking big. The other thing you have to ask yourself is, what motivates you? So Jeff, when you're goal setting, are you the type of individual who wants to goal set and make it a big audacious goal? And even if you don't get there, you're fine, but you love having that big audacious goal? Or are you someone who says, I want it to be realistic of what I really think I can do and achieve and need to achieve? Which camp would you fall into?
Well, I would say initially, I don't have them outrageous because I need a sense of accomplishment, achievement, and success.
Okay.
Then
No, I love that though. You said I need it so I have a sense of achievement. Yeah, that's why I want you really thinking and having a conversation with yourself. What kind of goal will motivate me? What I've seen, the reason I want you thinking about this is if you pick a goal and it's so big that every time you look at it, it makes you feel bad, then that's defeating and you're not getting a sense of achievement, right? And it could be detrimental to you having that motivation and positive energy that you need as a small business owner, as a self-employed person. So I can't tell you, Amy, what kind of goal to put there. You really have to ask yourself, one, what do I have to make? What am I saying to myself? This is what I've got to achieve. And then how do my goals motivate me? What motivates me when it comes to goal setting? And I don't think enough of us sit down and think about what motivates us when we do goal setting. Do you some people then want to attach their goals to something, meaning a carrot or a stick. I know some agents who, if they don't make their goal, they have set a goal of, well, then I have to do something I don't like. I have to give money to an organization I don't like, or I have to do something that's painful. And then there are other people who say, I make my goal and I'm going to reward myself in that whatever that is. If that's a thing or an experience, buying a new car, I don't know. But for them, that motivates them. So some people like pain, some are driven by pleasure. Again, that's individual to you. That's why when it comes to accountability and as a coach, somebody will say, hold me accountable. And so what does that look like to you? I did a coaching skills camp, and one of the exercises was, and we're all a whole room of coaches. And we were to do this exercise and then come up with an accountability. And my partner in this exercise, it was role play, said, if you don't do this, then you're going to have to do this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. That won't motivate me. I'll be like, heck no. I have to have the positive motivation, not the punishing motivation. And there's not a right or a wrong. That's why this has to be so individual to you to make it work. Does that make sense? Anybody want to share what motivates them? How do you, when you goal set, do you give yourself a little rewards? What, Amy, when you goal set, what?
Not to sound codependent, but like just serving my family, one of my big whys is just education for my family, so. You know, it's not really necessarily about I can go get my nails done or something like that. It's more like college funds and things like that.
Exactly. Well, that is helping support your family.
Yeah.
And allow things to happen that without that support, maybe they wouldn't have those opportunities. So it's providing opportunities for your family that's important to you?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Hey, Krista.
Okay. Yes, Whitney.
I think like building stability like for the future and then also like rewarding ourselves by going on trips. I think that's kind of my motivation is like I want to build the structure and as we get to each step, like having that reward of being able to travel and learn new things.
I love that. See, and that's motivating for you, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a list of where you want to travel?
Yes.
Okay, because that makes it more real.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So like for Amy, I would say, then how much money is it that you want to be able to contribute towards your girls, towards the kids' education? So you, she's got it.
I heard you.
Think about it. What is it that you want to achieve? And one of my favorite questions is for a new agent is, what are you hoping real estate will provide for you and your family? Because we know most of us understand that money's not going to buy happiness, but it can buy opportunities and it can give you pleasure. Money is good for the good that money does. You know, but most of us grew up with some negative connotations about money. And I did. And Bold, one of the Keller Williams programs that comes through once a year with a Bold coach, was stretching my money mindset. I didn't ever want to look greedy, didn't want to ever look like I was just all about money. But for me, money is security, like for many of us. But it is not my driver, but it's necessary, right? So I had to figure out, here's what happened. You know that ceiling I told you about? I would say to myself, well, I'm okay if I make this much. Guess what? I was making just that. I didn't get over that because I didn't know how, and my mindset was, it's okay here. Even though I would have liked to make more, but it's okay here. So my mindset was, well, if I want more, then I'm going to look greedy. That's just me talking to me. So you have to ask yourself, what's your money mindset as you're doing this goal setting to make it real? You thought I was just going to get into numbers. I want you to get into your head about what's going to be important to you, because is being an entrepreneur easy? No. And if you don't have an understanding of why you're doing this and what motivates you, then I can pretty much tell you, you're not going to have the level of commitment to make it. You're just trying real estate to see if you can do it and make some money. Instead of saying, I want this to work, I want to build this business. Those are two different mindsets. And I see a lot of people, matter of fact, the majority that get into real estate just want to try it and see if they can make a lot of money. Now, that's not wrong, but if that's your only motivation, that's not going to sustain you when this gets hard. And you're thinking, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Does that make sense? So as we're looking at this, and we look at those three key factors, remember I said you need to focus on the numbers you need to hit. And once we have these numbers, and you've got to think about what your monthly expenses are. Yeah, this isn't the right one for the launch, so I know those numbers aren't right. Then it would say here that you need to close 24 deals if your average sales price is 400. That's a lot in your first year. It's doable. But that's like the top 5% of new agents, or maybe the top 3% that do 20 or more deals. Mary Beth Schwartz in this office, she's a beast. I say that in the most loving, awesome way. She closed like 42 or 43 transactions in her first year. And she didn't close anything in her first 6 months. That blows my brain. But she worked so hard in those first 6 months of meeting with people. She had coffee or drinks and whatever every single day with people. Planted so many seeds. The other thing is when we're talking about the economic model, the 3 keys are not only you have to know what numbers you need to hit to get to here, and that's what we'll be working on. You also need to focus on appointments. This is where being purposeful is so critical. When you look at your economic model, you can clearly see that it has a beginning and an end. The end is the net income you will receive. What causes that net income starts with the beginning activity, appointments. These are appointments to make listing presentations to sellers and buyers. Please note that they refer to listing appointments as the, instead of buyer consultations, they just say listing appointment, because you're listing to get a buyer, or you're gonna list a home. So you have to decide, and what this plan is gonna tell you is how many appointments do I need a week or a month? So once you plug your numbers in, it's gonna tell you, and that's what needs to be your driver. This is what I need this week or this month. On this one, you need 4 appointments a month, so 1 a week. It might not actually pan out like that. You might have 3 in 1 week. But that's what you've got to be thinking is, when I do this open house this weekend, I need to get leads because I need this many appointments this week, this month. Otherwise, you're just going to an open house and going, well, I hope I get something. Does that make sense? Every lead gen activity you do should have a goal to what you want to accomplish from that. 1 lead, 2 leads to turn into appointments. So appointments are critical here. If you don't know that, then you don't know why you're working so hard and driving the way you're driving. And then on number 3 is you've got to then, and I know this is hard to do in the beginning, but I'm going to plant this seed, is focus on conversion rates. Because you can do all of these, that activity tracker, the launch activity tracker, don't forget to fill it out today, because yesterday was a holiday, but if you can, fill it out today. Because if you're not tracking those numbers, you're not knowing what your results are to get appointments. You don't know how many people you talked to before you got an appointment, and you need to know that. Because if you're talking to a lot of people or getting good turnout in your open houses, and that's not going anywhere, then you got to think, okay, here's the skill that's probably missing that I need to work on is my conversion. My conversations, am I having the right conversations? Am I picking the right open houses? Does this make sense? Because if I'm not thinking that way, then again, I'm just doing lead gen activity and thinking I'm gonna get lucky and not being purposeful. So what I'd like you all to do between now and Thursday, gives you 2 whole days. Thursday morning is watch my little video that's in the email that I sent Thursday or Friday, probably Thursday, I think it was. And then, if you don't have a business plan, email me just so that I can be certain that Jeg prioritizes getting those to you. I know Amy just got hers. But I want to make sure that we do that. And then we're gonna get knee deep and then some. But I want you thinking about what we talked about. How much money do I want to net? What motivates me? And why did I pick that goal? I'm gonna ask you why you picked that goal, so you better have better be able to explain it to me. Cause I wanna know, cause I want you to know. Any questions? What about online? Any questions in Zoom land? No? You guys are so quiet. Okay, any questions here? No? Okay, well, thank you. Again, kudos for coming out today on not only a rainy day, but a rainy day after a 3-day holiday. So tells me that you're serious business owners. So thanks for being here this morning. Get ready for our business meeting that is coming up at 10. All you need to do if you're online is switch over to our office Facebook page and we will be broadcasting it there. So thanks a lot. Well, we almost died on Friday. No, we did. We did because of extreme we weren't in a severe thunderstorm. We were in extreme